Hindsight only has lament. Should have bought Google. Should have bought Google at 200. You know what? You didn't. Tough. Too bad. Should have never sold that house. Should have bought that house. Should have never sold that old car. Should have never got rid of that old Fender Stratocaster. You see, it always happens. Hindsight, you know what? Does you no good. All you can do is cry in your soup. Too bad. You know what I want? The opposite. Foresight. Strategic foresight. What if you could know what's going to happen before it happens? Would you have an advantage? Absolutely. All right, let's give it to you. Now, for 25 years, I've had a track record, an unbeaten track record of being right, and I'm going to tell you my secret. I leave out the parts I can be wrong about. For example, in 1993, that was 2 years before Yahoo, 2 years before Amazon.com, 2 years before the web started taking off. Wasn't on your radar. 2 years before, even Amazon.com wasn't even thought of yet by the guy who came up with it. I was giving a speech to the American Booksellers Association. There were 10,000 people in that audience, far bigger than this 4,000. And you can still get the old audio tape. That's how they did it in those days. You can still get the old audio tape of that speech, and you can hear me clearly say, in 2 years, there's going to be a virtual bookstore, and I basically described Amazon.com. Now, was I able to predict the company would be called Amazon.com? No, I had to leave out the parts I could be wrong about. But I knew it was going to happen. How could I know that? Because the technology was there to do it, and if it can be done, it will be done. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but I'm not a technology forecaster. That's not what I do. Oh, yeah? Well, there's a lot that I can give you. Again, you don't have to be a scientist. You just have to become aware of what's going on. When your customers start changing their behaviors, you better be paying attention. Have they been changing their behaviors over the last couple of years? Yeah. If you got an iPod, what happened? Hey, you changed. You see, there is, in this visible future, I mentioned a few minutes ago, a cycle. I said, now it's summer, next is fall. There's actually over 300 known cycles that allow you to anticipate the future. Cyclical change. Interest rates go down. What will happen? They're going to go up. They're going up. What's going to happen? They're going to go down again. It's cyclical. We get too Republican, then what happens? Hey, we need to get Democratic. We'll get too Democratic, then what happens? Oh, God, we got to get more Republican. I mean, the pendulum swings. The pendulum just keeps swinging. Cyclical change. But there's another kind of change, permanent change. And when permanent change hits, your change, you're not going back. Could you predict those ahead of time? The answer is absolutely, without being a scientist. You see, when you got a cell phone, what happened? Hey, you got change, you're not going back. When you got email, what happened? You're changed, you're not going back. And if you get an iPod, I'm going to tell you right now, you will be changed and you will not go back. iPod users or people that are using MP3 players, am I right or not? Yeah, absolutely. Why? It changes how you listen to music. It changes how you access your music. I know when I got my first one, I started listening to music that I've had in my collection for a long time, but I just didn't listen to it. Why? It's too hard to find the darn thing. But now I had it on a device this big. And by the way, is this thing getting smaller? Yeah, so you're pretty good. You're right. 100% you're right. Now, if I got a business strategy and I base it on uncertainty, how good is that strategy? Hey, you're rolling dice. But what if I could have a business strategy based on certainty? I know this is going to happen. You know what happens? Risk is low, outcome is high.